And welcome to the next session of Rock of Cair Bryn. It was a very busy session last time as the crew made their way around Veilguard as they tried desperately to get some stuff done. They ran into a lot of information very quickly and a lot of interesting experiences for them all. Dimitri, for example, spent some time with the symphony orchestra playing away and had himself a big solo and made himself a bit of coin in the process. Bart chased around and eventually got his armor that he wanted, as well as a battle axe, or a great axe, I guess, not a battle axe, which he is now wielding. And Pre tried to leave town, only to be brought back by Dimitri on the promise of coinage and taking a trip in the direction of her home, which is where she was headed, in numbers rather than by herself. And our boy Shin spent most of his day wandering around as Squirrel and basically causing mischief for those that were trying to figure out where Shin had gone. And in that process of finding out what's going on and trying to deal with things as they are happening, you guys were issued with a couple of tasks. Well, you had several different things that you were challenged with, but a couple of specific tasks you took upon yourselves to do. One, to escort the ambassador to Animetsu to try and negotiate with the people there and to try and gain some sort of treaty. You're not totally clear on what exactly is going on. And the other quest that Bart received was there was a desire to deal with some cultists which were causing some problems in Limburn. And so I think if I remember correct, I think there was talk of trying to go past there as you traveled north, but I'm not sure if that was going to be before or after.
I think we're on a timetable for the ambassador, so I don't know if we were going to do that or not.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to Bart anymore, so it's fine.
Right. It is, yeah. So anyway, so we ended in the evening with Dimitri's performance, at the end of which the ambassador stood up and applauded. And we found out that the ambassador was the gnome that Pre met in the pub that caused her all sorts of discomfort and trouble. By the name of Clamdor Tinkerfoot. Specifically Lord Clamdor Tinkerfoot. Alright, so is there anything you guys would like to do before you meet up in the morning? And if anybody is muted, they may want to unmute.
No. I mean, after the performance, I just would have gone to bed. I mean, I probably would have, like, stayed for pleasantries. Like, oh, yeah. Like you said, everyone was it. You know what? No, because you told me that people had invited me back to their rooms. So I would have picked one and gone.
Okay, then. Yes, there was... well, there was one who wanted a private performance.
Yeah.
But I think that was more along the lines of later date sort of thing.
Yes, that's what I said. Yeah, that's right. I did say when I came back to the city, I'd give a private performances. So I probably would have just gone back to the inn.
Okay. All right. Shin, you are in a tree. You are nibbling on a couple of acorns. So what do you do?
Is this before or after Dimitri's performance?
This would be in the evening. Probably Well, it would be after your character saw Pre getting hit on. Um, so probably just before his performance.
I would take some of these acorns in and watch his performance, but after that, I would probably go back to the tree
Uh-huh.
and lay down in one of the branches, change back to myself, lay down in one of the branches, and spend the night out there.
Okay. Uh, During the evening, you hear various voices wandering the street. You hear a couple of people uh, muttering about local politics, and you hear a couple of horses with their not chains, their reins and stuff jingling along. But for the most part, it's pretty quiet in the evening. After basically about midnight, everything calms right down, at least in this area of town. You know it is well protected because it's the snobbier end of the city.
Mhm. Yeah, just uh, enjoy the night. Think about the. I always is it the matron? Is that what we call her, or is it the matriarch?
Who?
The mother.
Oh, you're talking. Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
The memorialist.
Yeah, the
Memorialist.
memorialists. Yes.
I think
Although
about her.
they do call her mother as well, just to be, and which annoys her to no end.
I think about her. I think about my lady, the death bringer. Just let it all go through my head as I watch the stars.
Cool. All right. So, uh, hmm, what should I have you do here? Let's do a intelligence check there, Mr. Pre, Mr. Shin, please.
All right. This isn't great for me. Did it roll? Nope.
There we
3.
go. Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, you were a squirrel after all. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so you wake up the next morning. You roll over and fall out of a tree. You take 2 points of damage, and the you don't really remember anything other than being a squirrel and having a pretty good time being a squirrel.
All right.
Your mouth is sort of like, I don't know, sometimes when you eat like nuts, you know, how it kind of gets a bit furry. I don't know how else to describe it. Just the texture of the nuts get a little, I don't even know
Coat your mouth.
Yeah. So you have that going on. Other than that, really, you don't remember anything. You don't remember what they were doing. You don't know anything about what they were up to. You remember you heard some music, which sounded pretty good at one point. It's all a little vague.
Strange.
And you were out front of the inn.
Stand up, dust myself off, and rub my head for a second. And it's weird. And I'll walk into the inn and look around.
All right. It is probably about 6:30 in the morning. So it is super quiet at this stage. Only a few people would even be moving, one of which would be Pre. Whether or not Pre's downstairs, I don't know at this point. But as they have consistently said they are an early riser, I figure they can explain that.
Me?
Yeah, you. Yeah, you're Pre, by the way. I don't know if you do that.
Sorry, I was hung up on furry nuts.
Uh-huh. Yes, I saw that. I mean, I can't read Discord chat without looking at my phone, but yeah.
Yeah. Bree would have gotten up early, eaten, and been like sitting around waiting for them to like get their butts moving.
Okay, so you walk in, Pre's sitting there chewing on food at a table. She's probably the only one actually eating at this point. There's only kind of one server, and then the chef in the back. That's about it at this point, or cook, I guess you wouldn't really call him a chef. Well, in that establishment, you might. But otherwise, it's like uber quiet. Right. So with that, Dimitri, it is early in the morning. You have woken up.
God, I was up too late last night. Shit.
You are surprised to find that you are by yourself.
Oh.
And you have a few minutes to decide what you're going to do. You know that you have to probably be in the equivalent of about 9 o'clock out in front of the building to meet up, well, over by the castle, if we're honest, to meet up with your escort duty. Unlike the rest of you, you're the one who knows who you're escorting.
I know. So he's going to he'll get dressed in his clothes. He'll strap on his breastplate. He'll put on his coat over it. Look at himself in the mirror. Be like, today's going to be a hard day. And he takes his sword and his shield, and he opens the door and walks out. Go down to breakfast. And his pack. He'll take everything because he figures they're leaving right away.
Probably a good idea at this stage. All right, so then we turn to Bart. Bart, you wake up in the morning. As you get up and start to move about, you'll notice a lot of things are changing in appearance. Your armor has definitely taken on a coinage look. Your great axe is covered with them, but you knew that one already. But none of your other arms are anymore, including the pike that you had is now clear of any designations.
Since it's early in the morning, he just goes up to the armor and kind of try to rub it off, and then I'm assuming nothing happens.
Nothing happens, that's true.
I was like, fine. And then he'll put on the armor, kind of look at himself in the mirror a little bit, and then just pick up his stuff and go downstairs.
Can you roll me a perception check before you do?
Yeah.
You guys are on point with perception checks today. All right. So you look at yourself in the mirror, you're half asleep. You feel kind of a arm on your shoulder almost imperceptibly that just kind of disappears. And you kind of hear a slight imperceptible giggle, but you don't see anything. It just disappears.
He's gonna kind of do that thing where he's like, "Stop that!" And then kind of waves around like trying to swat a fly, and then kind of continues and walk down.
Okay. All right. So everybody has come back into the pub. The owner of the building walks up to you all and says, as I understand it, are leaving today, I would just let you know that should you need anything before your exit, we are able to provide. When you return, just let us know. This area is for your use whenever you need it. Other than that, have a safe journey.
I'm gonna look for Shin, and I was like, "Were you a squirrel?"
Yes.
Why?
What? That's funny. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah,
It was
fair enough.
fun.
Yeah, I think you were biting or scratching someone that was sent to grab you.
Well, what would you do if somebody tried to grab you?
Well, no, not grab. I meant like mid-sentence, Bart realized how much energy he put into this conversation already. And he's like, "We'll just sit back down."
Nice. All
I
right.
like put my hand up for like the bartender or whatever. Can I get a glass of water? I got some fur and something in my mouth.
The bartender kind of nods at you, and he goes and grabs a cup, gives it a bit of a wipe out, and brings it over with some water in it.
Chug it.
All right.
Thanks.
Awesome. Go ahead.
Oh, good. Oh, okay. Hey, Dimitri. Do you still have that? They give us a scroll that had the details to um, the mission, I guess.
Not a scroll, but a paper. Yeah, I'll hand it to him.
Okay. Does it say? Because I don't think Bart knew anything about the details. Once he was promised the armor, he walked out. So I try to he'll read what it says, I guess.
I try to read over his shoulder because I have no clue what's going on either. So
Well,
Yeah.
as I sit down, I'm like, so I was debating whether or not to tell you guys this or just let it be a surprise, but you guys should probably prepare yourselves. You remember that gnome that joined us at the table last night?
I look at Pri.
Yeah, why?
Yeah. Bart sighs. Like he's waiting for the shoe to drop. He's like,
He came to the concert last night. It turns out that he's the ambassador we're supposed to be escorting.
And like while he's side-eyeing Pri, starts to like giggle and snicker a little bit.
Priya suddenly very much considering teleportation,
Bart looks
despite her extreme dislike of it.
Bart kind of looks up in the ceiling. And is like, really? Why?
You hear a coin flip in your head.
Redo it.
Redo what?
Nothing.
I don't know. I guess fate just has it out for us, buddy.
I know. I know. She likes poop emojis.
Hey, maybe he's not that bad.
Okay, then let's all in favor. Shen is in charge of keeping him busy.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Cool. Good talk. He'll kind of pat you in the back.
Shouldn't be too hard.
Have fun. Keep him away from me. Our mission will fail.
Oh, actually, yeah. I'm gonna look at the thing. Does it say he has to like be in one piece?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do a whole Jamie Lannister kind of thing. I don't know.
I point to the paper. I said it says escort safely.
He's safe. He's safe. It just
Not
you
one
can
piece.
you can lose an arm and still be safe. You know.
Can you now?
Fingers, maybe
I don't
a toe.
know about that.
Well, no, okay.
Fingernails.
I think the very act of losing an arm is unsafe.
Some hair, maybe an eye. You won't notice a couple of teeth missing.
Oh, we'll see what happens.
Well, I hesitate to bring it up again because of how much you rejected it last time. But they did say we could take the teleportation circle to cut the journey time down.
Why isn't that the first choice?
Because Pri rejected it pretty angrily when I brought it up last time.
I do not trust them.
Okay.
But
Hmm.
several
Bard's-
weeks on the road.
Bart's gonna dig through his coin purse. I'll give you 10 gold if you just agree to the portal.
$10 gold, less time with the gnome. Look at all
Ah.
positives there, Pre.
But your insides could get stuck in.
You, if he points to Shin, you stop. I am too tired for this right now.
Less time is better. Fine. I'll go with the wizard's infernal magic.
I count out 10 coins and I hand it to her. Let me deduct it here.
I will add it when I'm no longer armful of cat.
Okay, should we just, what now?
I mean, we're supposed to meet there around 9. It's getting close. We should probably head out if everyone's done with breakfast.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to the bartender and like get me anything portable to eat.
The bartender looks at you and says, well, we don't really have stuff like that, but we do have like some merchants that might have what you're looking for.
Never mind.
I mean, this is more of a fine dining establishment than it is a hardtack for the road establishment. I'm just saying.
You don't
I
have,
have
like,
beef jerky if you want some.
I mean, they
You
could
don't
give
have,
you
like,
toast, maybe. That'd be about it.
Do you sell flasks of alcohol? Because I have a feeling I'm going to need it.
I mean, we have bottles.
I will take a bottle.
What kind?
Anything that'll get me drunk.
Anything that gets you drunk, it is. And he reaches under, he picks out a bottle, blows dust, comes poofing off of it, puts it on the thing, and says, it's the finest orcish grog. If you would like this, 2 gold.
That looks as old as I am.
Yeah.
How old are you? Bart just turns to you.
Doesn't matter.
I mean, Pre has a point. Does grog age like wine, or does it get more terrible with age?
I mean, that depends on your point of view. I mean, if you like grog, it doesn't get worse.
Do you have wine bottles?
Yeah, okay. He puts that one back, sighs a bit that it didn't get picked up, and then lifts up another bottle of some wine, puts it on there, says, all right, 3 gold for that if you want it. It's from the sea coast. It's considered pretty good.
I'll give him 3 gold and take the bottle.
All right. It's only from about 10 years ago, so it's not that old.
That's fine. It might be.
We spent an extra 13 gold in total just for this guy. Just to make this trip easier. Yeah.
I say it might be a little sour, but it's fine. I'll take it.
Okay.
Yep. Anybody else? Should we get some food provisions, or is everybody good, you think? I'll look at the paper. How long is it supposed to take us?
With the okay, so if you go by, it depends, right? So if you're gonna walk it or ride, it would take the better part of a month and a half. Going by teleportation circle, it's going to be a lot quicker than that.
It was already provisioned for a long trip, so she's good.
Well, I've got 5 days of rations. If it's gonna be longer than that, I need to stop and get some.
Well, I mean, if you're taking a teleportation circle, it will definitely be, at least to there, shorter.
Do we know how shorter?
Give me an Arcana check.
Okay. Bart's kind of confused. Yeah, Bart's not confused.
Bart is not confused. All right, so you know that teleportation circles are instantaneous.
So we'll get there instantaneous? So we
That's your
don't need any.
interpretation.
Uh,
That's
I don't
that's
know
it.
if it,
That's two there. If you want to come back, there may or may not be another
oh, I
teleportation
see.
circle,
I
right? So
mean,
you might be walking.
right, but theoretically, that place has a market where we
It's
can buy food.
true. I mean, it's considered to be a city.
Uh, I mean, if we're teleporting, we'll just get there. Shouldn't really need. We can always restock there, I guess.
If
Or not.
we get there.
Well,
And
if we don't get there, we don't need food.
You'll be dead. No.
Yeah,
I could probably gather up some stuff too if we are in a pinch.
We're on a mountain.
All right.
We're inside
Let's-
a mountain. We're in a hut. We're in the middle of the ocean.
It's
We're in the
Or
middle
from
of the
another
sky.
dimension, or
I
in the gut of
mean,
a beast.
you would
or...
hope that the local wizards would not be useless, but
Bree does not trust them.
I mean, fair.
Does not
Fair
trust
enough.
these teleportation.
I'll just look at him and be like, that's not how teleportation circles work. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. I
It's
promise.
not how they're supposed to work. No.
Have you had a bad time teleporting somewhere before?
I've heard stories.
She's heard the equivalent of like transporter accidents.
Basically, she is Bones from Star Trek when it comes to teleportation.
All right. Well, when we get where we're going, you can check for internal organs to make sure they're all there.
Oh,
Yay.
let's go.
Yay. All right. So if you're leaving, does anybody want to do any shopping before you go? There was a brief mention. Just want to make sure.
Not me.
Okay.
I was going to get
No.
provisions, but you talked us out of it.
Okay. I mean, I didn't want to talk you out of it. I was just letting you know. All right. So you guys head up to the castle. As you arrive, you see a very elaborate cart that's been highly decorated. It's gaudy. It's so decorated. Sitting on top of it in the driver's seat is a woman who looks like she has every muscle in the world and is holding the reins. She has a massive two-handed sword on her back, which is layered in runes. And you see each of her arms has tattoos down either side. And she has her hair is cut very, very short and effectively just spiky on top and kind of a dark brown. And she has a few scars which run across her face. There's one across her chin. And she looks quizzically at you all as you come wandering up. And she says, "Are you all..." Or, whoops, wrong level there. "Are you all here to escort the ambassador?"
Yes, we're here to escort Lord Chatterbox.
She means Lord Tinkfoot.
Lord Clamdor.
All of the above.
Lord Hansy.
And that too. He is currently engaged with the king. He is expected very soon. I understand you guys are wanting to travel via the King's Highway. Is that correct?
My party has changed their mind and decided that the teleportation circle would be faster. If that's all right with you and the ambassador.
I mean, it's up to him. I'm sure he won't care. Me personally, I'm not a fan of magic, but it's a magical world. Kind of shrugs.
Bree will just like smile at her. Yes, someone who understands.
I feel like the "It's a Beautiful World" song goes, but it's a magical world instead.
It's a natural, magical world. Oh yeah. All right. Gets down off the wagon. looks at it and says, Ladleson. And you see another halfling come out from inside the cart, and he goes, yeah, what do you want? She's like, this group are going to be leading us. Apparently, they didn't want to take the road. And you see the little halfling kind of, I don't want to say dance, but kind of seem excited about that idea. You mean I'll have to listen to him snore the whole way? Awesome. That's the best news I've heard all day. All right, I'll go up and chat to the wizards. I'll get back to you all in a little bit. You got it?
I especially didn't want to be seen on the road with that monstrosity of a wagon.
I mean,
Can we just like signal to everybody within a 10-mile radius, rob us, please?
Lord Tinkerfoot has a type, shall we say. God, he is definitely one of them. His last widow gave him this beast. And
His
He's
last
been
widow.
married?
How
How many
did she your
Widows
widow?
does he have? like all these questions are all coming out of us at once.
How do they become widows if he's still alive?
No. You got it all wrong. You got it all wrong. He doesn't really marry him. He just kind
kills
of...
them.
No. They already been widowed. He finds...
Oh, he dates widows.
Yeah. That's it.
He's
They're
a funeral crasher.
They're usually financially well prepared, shall we say.
Oh, I see. This guy's a scumbag.
You could say that. Yes, you could say that. Anyway, I better go talk to the wizards. I'll be back in a bit. And
All
he tears off towards the wizard tower.
Real
Now
quick.
that gnome I like.
What?
He's from New York.
He's a halfling.
You're from New York?
Oh, yeah, that halfling I like.
He looks at you weird. I'm from Limburn. Shut up. And runs away.
Definitely New York.
Okay. The lady gets into the back of the wagon. She picks up a bunch of things, including luggage, and is tossing it out the back, and then looks at you all and says, well, if we're going by transport of a different fashion, I think we better grab a different wagon, or at least something small to carry all this garbage in. You guys got anything like a small hand cart or something? Or do I gotta go buy one?
I got a spare horse.
No horses. No, not in the transportation circles. The wizards don't like horses inside the building.
So I have to leave my horse behind.
I mean, that's part of the teleportation process is you need to leave your horse behind. Yeah. You might have to buy a new one. What can I tell you?
Why would we need we can't just store it here and have someone take care of them?
No. But I mean, if you want to come back and you don't want to go teleporting around, that might be a bit of an issue. It's up to you.
I'm not getting paid enough for this.
I gave you 10 gold.
Lady,
It's not enough.
none of us are getting paid enough for this, and I've been with this man for 10 years.
I'll run to the stables and let them know our horses need to stay here for a while and pay for it. I'll be right back. And I'll leave.
Or we can sell those horses and buy new ones where we're going.
I mean, you got to escort him back. Just saying. There is that point. It's a to and from kind of situation. I'm just saying. You could rent some while
Right,
you're
we gotta
there.
bring him back. I
Yep.
forgot about that.
But maybe there's a portal from there that can take us back here. And he looks at the lady
Sure.
kind of expectantly.
I mean,
Right.
it's generally, if they got a wizard tower, they're going to have a teleportation circle. They all hoard them like misers.
Okay, all right.
All right, then, Dimitri, your plan sounds good.
I'll be back.
Now, did I hear... No, I didn't hear. Never mind. I wouldn't know. Your plan to go visit your parents' house, you will need a horse if you're there. Basically, that is one thing to be aware of.
Yeah, she's gonna kind of wander off and go sell her horses.
Okay.
She might as well.
Yeah, I thought Dimitri just went to do that.
No,
No,
he
I went
went
to go pay for
He
them,
went
but
to
if she's gonna
stable
sell,
them.
they're her horses, so she
Two
can
of
do
them
what she
are.
likes to do. I thought you bought
No,
mine
she
too, because I
bought
didn't
like
buy
4.
mine.
You bought
Did I?
4 of them, yes.
Oh,
You-
well, then I'm selling 4 horses.
Okay.
Yeah, wait, I
Yes,
thought,
we-
I thought you bought 2.
No, what happened
I
was
don't know.
is you bought 1
I bought 1. Yes.
and then
split.
Tamara ended up buying 4 by accident
Oh, okay. All right.
because
Yeah.
she misunderstood when I said
Miscommunication.
yeah, so basically
Yeah.
what I said was the price of 1 horse was the price of 4,
Got it.
and so she bought 4 without realizing it. So you ended up with like 4
Well,
horses.
I'm gonna go
Alright.
sell 4 horses and see what I can get for them.
Okay.
All right.
Real
Uh,
quick.
All right.
Even if I sell.
I would like you to roll a charisma check, please.
Oh joy. This could go well. She's in a mood.
Are we all together?
Oh God!
Never mind. I was gonna try to help her.
If you want to assist, you can assist if you want.
Well, I was gonna give her guidance. Right
Okay.
before she-
Well, I mean,
I have a 7 on my charisma. How did I roll that bad?
I would be there too because I went to go pay. So when she says she wants to sell them instead, I could assist her. So she
Okay.
gets-
Alright,
it's
So
18
then
on
she
my
gets the
charisma, not
18
7.
instead of the 7 or the 9. All right.
And-
So
she can add a D4 if she wants. If I'm there, if I'm not there, then that's fine.
I don't think you're there.
it doesn't matter. 18 is good enough.
I'm gonna roll
Um,
like crap all night.
Yeah. So you sell the 4 horses. Now, originally, I believe you paid 80 gold for them.
Wow.
You got back. So normally each horse would be 80. So you got back 200 gold.
Nice.
I'm gonna walk back and tell the stable to keep them here until we get back, or to keep mine until I come back.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to do, and I would have done it. That's what I said I was going to do. But if you want to come over too,
Well,
I
because
was like, why did I bother to come over here? And it's
I figured you would see Pre try to sell, and you're like, oh, maybe we're all selling it. So I wanted to make sure mine wasn't being sold. But
none of them are my horses, so I have no control over selling one.
okay, whatever. His coin made him walk, so he's over here now. So he says, hey, just keep it here. I'll be back.
All right. So as they've okay. So Shin, did you stick around or did you go with the others? Just want to be clear about this first.
I'll stay because I'm the ambassador. I'm supposed to be looking out for the ambassador, so I would have stayed.
Fair enough. Okay, so about 20 minutes later, the halfling comes wandering back, and you can see he looks pretty happy, and he comes over. He says, all right, I think we're good to go. Now we just need that four-flesh and idiot to get his butt over here, and then we can leave. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, the Lord.
The Lord. Hey, you don't like that guy very much.
I grew up with that guy. He's a pain in the ass.
I can't wait to meet him.
No.
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 About 10 minutes later, you see a gnome come out. He's talking to an older lady as they walk down the ramp to where this setup is. As he's doing that, the ruffian woman who was with you guys comes back with a small hand cart and is piling the rest of the goods into it. And you see this gentleman walking up, and he looks over at you, Shin, and he says, "Why, hello, are you my escort?
I am.
And your name, sir?"
My name is Shin Jin Kuei.
"Ah,
Do a little bow.
a pleasure to meet you, sir. My name is Clamdor Tinkerfoot. I am the Lord of the... Oh, balls, I forgot what he's the Lord of. I have this somewhere. One second. I wrote it down, then I forgot.
The Lord of Clams and Doors.
Oh, maybe I don't
He's
have
a
it.
load of garbage.
Nope, I don't have it written down. Okay, never mind. He says, I am the ambassador for the Veil God, and I am looking forward to our travels to discuss many of my more interesting experiences and to find out a little bit about you as well.
Oh, well, you'll find out. I should be the one that you talk to because besides Dimitri, the other two are closed book. You won't get anything out of them. So if you want to know some stuff, talk to me and Dimitri. But you're the ambassador. How'd you get that job? You must be a people person.
Ah, indeed, indeed I am. I am an every people person, you might say. I've never met a person I haven't liked right from the off.
Hmm.
And they, of course, love me. You see the
Oh, do they?
halfling standing a little bit behind him. Kind of see him roll his eyes very clearly. Uh,
So you've never met anybody you didn't like?
oh, no. I mean, I've had a few arrows shot at me from individuals who misunderstood my sensibilities or my interest in their wives, sometimes their husbands. It all depends, really. But nonetheless, they get to know that I really am harmless when it really comes down to it.
Oh, I know how it goes with enemies, but don't worry, Lord Clamfoot. You're gonna be safe with us. I bring death to my enemies.
Excellent. Yeah. Tinkerfoot. Lord Tinkerfoot.
Yeah.
As in
Sound
the
The-
Felden Tinkerfoots. Old family, go way back.
Oh.
Please, remember that at least. If you remember nothing else, remember that. He kind of smiles. He goes over to the cart, looks and checks everything, and says, "Have you got the bag?" And the lady turns to him and says, "Yes, I have the bag." And she points at it. She says, "I've also got your weapons.
I take note of that bag.
I've got the signing details here, as well as the treaty is in this safe. We're good to go. The newbies say they want to take us by, they want to use the wizards." He goes, "Oh, you're wanting to teleport, are you?"
Yeah, we understand
Awkward.
you're on a time crunch, so we figured this might be the best way.
That's probably wise. Animatsu are interesting people. They sometimes can be slightly problematic, so it might be good to get there quickly. Luckily, there is a teleportation circle located not far from their capital, so it shouldn't be a problem.
You know about how long from their capital?
Oh, about, I want to say probably just a short, not even half a day journey. Even
Okay.
walking, it's not that far. It's only a few miles.
Well, Lord Tinkerfoot,
That's it. You got it.
the old family. Well, we're gonna get you in and out. Don't you worry.
That sounds excellent. I have certainly some things I can do back here, and of course, my wife is waiting for me back in Springard, so I probably should check in, if you know what I mean.
Ah, so you have a wife, but you like to creep around. Because you said that people shot at you with arrows for creeping with their wives, right?
I mean, not
Oh,
recently.
hey, Clamdor, my man. Don't worry about it. Your secret's safe with me. And then I'll grab some of the stuff and start putting it on the hand cart, and like over my shoulder I'll say, and hey, maybe since we're getting you there so quick, we can get a bonus. And I'll just toss whatever luggage I have into the cart. Like haphazardly, not even worried about it.
Oh dear. You see him grimace, for sure. And he kind of goes, "Okay, right. Where's the rest of your party? Have they disappeared? Are they coming along as well?
They'll be back soon. They went to stable and sell some horses.
I see, I see. Okay. Uh, that musician, I understand it, is supposed to be coming along. I was very fascinated by his performance the other night, or yesterday, so I love to bend his ear some more.
Have I ever seen Dimitri play his instrument? Like, do I know he's a musician? Because I may be confused here if I don't.
I don't know.
I don't think I played it on the road. I mean, my sword, my flute is the hilt of my sword, so you would have seen me like wielding it.
All right, so I'll be like, oh, you must be talking about Dimitri.
Actually, didn't you play it at one of the camps when you guys camped out?
Oh yeah, the Song of Rest.
Yes,
yeah.
you did. Yeah. So he does know at least that you do play something.
Yeah, Dimitri's got a beautiful voice.
Excellent, excellent. That's wonderful. So if we're fairly quick, we should be at the Magimaginum before noon and be able to travel to Animatsu and get there somewhere around early evening. So we should only have to spend one night there, hopefully, but it depends on how these negotiations go. Sometimes they can be lengthy.
Aggressive negotiations. You need some help.
Not typically. It's more often than not the fact that they're stubborn mules from the north, but other than that, I wouldn't say it'd be aggressive as such.
Well, we'll get you there safely.
Thank you.
And back. Maybe.
That would also be good as well. And if there's anything you all need to do while we're there, you are more than free to do so. I am able to do the negotiations with my small party here. I don't necessarily need escort. There, it's more just travel time, and traveling can get a little dangerous, so it should be fine.
All right.
As he ends that phrase, the three of you come wandering up, having sold 4 horses and set one aside. Oh, my, we meet again. And he kind of wiggles his eyebrow at you, Bree. And then looks over at Dimitri and he says, puts his hand out to shake yours.
Yeah, he'll shake it.
And he
Good to
goes,
see you again.
yes, I was taken with your performance last night. It was breathtaking. I look forward to hearing more of your lovely music.
Bree will sort of sidle behind Dimitri as he's saying that and put Dimitri between herself and
Trying to hide.
subtly, very subtly. Yeah, subtly.
Subtable. All right. The halfling looks over at you all and says, well, if you all are ready, we could probably get going now. Clamdor looks at him and says, why, of course, Philip. We are ready to go. If you all are prepared, we may head over to the tower. I'm sure the magistrate there will be more than happy to accommodate us. As you walk your way over there, the handcart being pulled, and you arrive, there is a young magician looking like an apprentice standing at the entrance. He looks directly at Clamdor and nods, but you perceptibly notice that it's a little bit of an odd nod, like as if it's a little weird. I don't know how else to describe it, but just a little weird. And he says, good afternoon, good morning. I'm here to escort you to the teleportation circle, sir. Clamdor looks at him and says, all right then. Mr. Wizard, take us there. And the wizard anxiously turns on his heels, walks inside the building. As you walk in, you enter a door that basically wasn't there. It seemed like the last time you walked past this place, it didn't look like there was any doors at that level. As you walk in, what greets you is a building which is huge by comparison to the appearance outside of it. Outside, it looks like a tower, but it's not like a massive, like, skyscraper style tower. It's more like a castle tower, effectively. As you walk in, there are an open area where you see various people standing around. Some are chatting, some you can see practicing certain magical things. Here and there you see an occasional floating hand going around. You see books flying back and forth from shelves. Above you, one layer up, you see a massive shelf area just in this massive circle filled with book after book after book after book. And as you go up along, if you look far enough up, you'll see some which are behind barriers of some sort. And the young magician leads you through all of this, through the commotion and the general hubbub of the daily activities of the Wizard Tower, and leads you back into a back room. And this back room has a door on it, which is very elaborately set. As you look at the door is about the better part of a foot thick, made of a combination of iron and wood. The iron's almost been rebarred into the wood, effectively, to stiffen the wood and act as a protecting agent. And you also see a number of runes written on the wood that kind of glow off and on. And you see all around the inside of the doorway, there's runes. And any of you who kind of know anything about magic know that this is a highly protected area. And that it would take a lot of work to get by all this. And
as we were walking through the main area, I would have looked around to see if I could see Lou anywhere.
Okay, roll a perception check, please.
As I see him look around, I tap him on his shoulder and cast guidance.
Yeah. Perception.
That was pretty good.
D4 on top of it, a 22.
You will see the young man you met over in the corner. He's sitting at a desk. He has like about 8 books sitting beside him. He has a massive scroll, and you can see him busily writing something on the scroll. He is not paying attention to anybody.
I would do like one of those big like whistles, like where like put your fingers in your mouth and be like. If he looks up, I'll wave. If not, then I'll just keep going.
He looks up, he sees you, and you kind of see a little bit of a embarrassed wave, and then he goes back to what he's doing.
Okay.
As you enter the room, you'll see it's set into a circle. It's a very, very like Oval Office style circle. It's quite large, but it's not massive. And at the inlay are these chalk drawings, which look like they're redone every day. And at the center is an object, and behind it is a wizard who looks very old. He has a very white beard that goes all the way down to his stomach. He looks like the prototypical, magic wizard that you see in the shows. He has a big, long, dark robe on with red trim. And he looks at you all and says, "Greetings, Ambassador. We have prepared the teleportation circle for you to meet with our brothers in Animatsu." And Clamdor nods very officiously and says, "Thank you, Malachi. I will pass on my greetings for your tower to them." And he says, If you would, that would be excellent. And if there's anything that they need from us, let us know. We will be delighted to help them should there be something they would like help with. Glamdor smiles at that and says, I will be sure to pass on your greeting. And then says, well, everyone, are we ready?
Can I roll an insight check on like that little exchange they just had?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like,
Go ahead.
might not. I'm not. I don't know if I'm good at insight. Let's see. I'm okay.
Okay, so you would know that there's no love lost between Animatsu and Veilguard. And that the magicians basically don't offer help to each other. So it's only
Make
ever done sarcastically, but it's about as formal of a sarcastically as you can.
Is Amasura
Animatsu?
what is
Hanamatsu.
Animatsu in the north, the east?
It's north and east of here, where you're at now.
Put my hood up, just in case.
Mhm.
So inferring from this, because we're representing Veilguard, the Hanamatsu mages might be like, fuck you, walk back, basically, is what you're saying.
I mean, you don't know.
Well,
No skin off priest teeth. Oh wait, she'd have to spend time with dude.
And walk all the way
Skin off priest teeth.
back. A little bit of skin.
So,
If- Nothing. I was gonna make it.
Okay.
Never mind.
you see the wizard start to take his arms and he kind of does a circle with them, and then he splops out some sort of powder which looks like chalk. And as it does, it kind of glows and tingles and turns and everything kind of spins. And you get this feeling like everything just twists. And in an instant, everything snaps. And then you feel your eyes just kind of lose focus for a second. And everything goes black. And then you slowly start to get this impression of light. And it kind of hits the edge of your eyes. And you feel your eyes kind of suddenly snap back. And you see yourself standing in a room. It's a square room with a younger acolyte standing at a table, or by a table, and he looks up from the book he's reading and says, Ah, Mr. Ambassador, greetings. You have arrived without any discomfort, I would hope. Welcome to Magin Magnum. You are in the lands of Animatsu. And he kind of nods at all of you. And
He just mumbles infernal magic.
okay.
Obfuscating.
The gentleman nods at all of you individually.
I was muted. Dimitri
Yep.
looks at Prue and goes, look, we got where we're going and you're all in one piece, okay?
Did we feel any uncomfort in the teleportation?
You would feel a sense of like, not necessarily discomfort, but maybe more like a bit of vertigo for a second. But as quickly as you feel it, it goes away. Like the it's kind of like when sometimes when you wake up and you're kind of like a little disoriented and you're trying to figure out where you are. It's kind of that feeling rather than like, oh, I'm going to be sick or something along that line. So it is a little disconcerting, but it's not like disastrously bad.
Free does not like it.
Okay.
No.
Shin and Pri, as you look around, you will notice that the area looks very northern in kind of its effect as far as the construction of the building. Even though it's different than what you're used to, you definitely see symbols and icons that look very much a part of the northern aesthetic. This area, as both of you know, is on the far north, it's a bit to the east. It's to the east of where you guys were. It's not all the way over to the edge of the continent, but it's sort of in the middle of the continent, but to the eastern side of the middle, but on the edge of the north. So kind of, close to the Arctic Circle kind of idea.
How far is this from Freeze home again?
Okay, so you are about a half day's walk to Animatsu, or at least the lake that Animatsu's on. But west of there is a place called Aspen Grove, which is near where your family lived.
Okay.
And the windows around the building show forests of pine trees and little, like, kind of scrub grass, and very much a colder part of the world than what some of you are used to, for sure, especially those from the southwest. This will be a much chillier place. Clamdor reaches in one of his bags, pulls out a layered cloak, puts it on, and says, "Well, I think we should get moving. Thank you for your hospitality." He nods at the wizard. Says, "If it is of no bother to you or your masters, I would appreciate it if we could use this facility again." The wizard nods at that and says, "We would be happy to, if you would at least do us one favor." And he nods and says, "What, pray tell, would that be?" He says, "Would you pass on to our cousins in the south and west how much we appreciate all that they have given us, and that if there's anything we can do for them, we would be happy and able to help them, and we would delight in being of assistance through their troubles. We know they recently had a problem with an orc campaign that they had trouble dealing with until the barbarians got a hold of them." Clamdor you see his mouth kind of slit a little bit. Like, you can tell, even the least perceptive among you will tell he's not his jovial self, and he just kind of nods and says, "I will be sure to pass that along." And he immediately walks out of the room. As you walk out, again, you see an area which it's not as open. This one's a little bit smaller, but it's got the same sort of width to it, but there's like it's not as tall and airy feeling. The wizards are all studying and reading. You see some clerics here as well, which is kind of something that doesn't happen in Veilguard too often. And you see them all sort of sharing information back and forth, but as they see you, they all kind of shut their mouths. They don't talk near you, so you can actually hear what they're saying, and they all kind of watch you kind of hesitantly. None of the higher-ups come to engage at all, and you were let out by the same young wizard. And as you get out of the building, you'll notice that it's a square tower with great bases that go up either side of it as kind of support, and around it is a massive stone wall which has decorations, but you can also see a lot of military function about it, and it stares across the dragon's teeth from the east to the west and stares towards the barbarian areas. You sense that this was built as kind of a early warning system for the rest of the country. As you come out, Clamdor looks at one of the locals that are kind of in the area. There is a small village within the walls that kind of looks after the wizards and does the day-to-day activities for them, and finds a small preteen standing around, kind of throwing rocks around, and says, "You, lad, we need horses. We have a mission to talk to your leadership in Animatsu, and we need to get there by the end of this afternoon, by the end of this morning. And the boy looks at him and goes, "All right, mister." And he says, "There's a stable over there if you want one. Other than that, I can't really help you." And he nods at all of you and says, "Come, let's get some horses."
As we're walking away, I look at the kid and flip him a copper and say, "Death to all your enemies."
He nods and says, "And to yours, sir, and to yours." And he runs off, looking like he's headed towards the market. As you arrive at the stables, there is a stable hand there who takes some coin from Clamdor, and Clamdor buys enough horses for all of you and one pack horse to carry the luggage and things, and says, "These will do for now until we head back. Once we get to the city, if you, as I told your friend here, you are more than welcome to find some things to do for yourselves, and I will message you when it is time to reassemble. We do have lodgings near the castle in a local establishment called the Weary Traveler. So if you need, you can head there, or you can go about whatever activities you so seek." And
Bart's gonna ask, do you have an idea of how long this is gonna take?
I mean, ideally, I'd like to be out of here by tomorrow, but we just don't know. This negotiations may drag on. It depends on how amenable they are to some of our demands.
Okay.
I think you're muted, Rob.
Sorry, I say, and if they don't meet your demands, what happens then?
It could drag on. I've been tasked to try and gain some measure of protection for our merchants. Animatsu has been very unwilling to do so far. They are... But here, let's get on the horses, and may as well get riding. At least we have something to do while we talk about this. And that you guys ride out of town, and he says, or out of the village and out of the walls, and head east. And he says, "My feeling is that they won't be amenable to all of our demands, but effectively our concern is that our cargoes are getting ransacked, and and he pulls a coin which will be very familiar to all of you, that has the symbology of the cults. And he says, this comes from Animatsu. We know that for sure. And we want to know if they're going to do something about it. What is happening? This infestation that's come down from here. This isn't just some ragtag bunch of missionaries trying to spread their church. It's something much worse."
Bart's gonna look at that coin and I'm like, "Hey, can I have that?"
"Sure." And he flips it to you.
I take it. Does he have any? Do you have any more?
I have a couple more, but I'm unwilling to give those up, as I'm going to use them as examples in this discussion.
Okay. Just a confirmation, John. Is this the same token?
Yeah, this is the same token that you found on those guys you killed.
Nice. 100 gold. One token. I put the coin away, and yep, that's all.
Okay. He nods and says, "Are you familiar with this particular symbol?"
Yeah, there was a couple of, or small group of cultists where I was from, and we had to put them down. Apparently there's a town, they're having some issues in Lindbergh too, so the guards tell me.
Yes, that's part of the reason why I've come, because they're not just in Limburg. They're the places where we're dealing with them, but that's certainly not by any stretch of the imagination uh, the only problem with them. They've been spreading as far west as into the western regions, and there's been rumors that they've gone as far as trying to go over the sea, but we're not entirely sure of their reasons. But the one thing that we have heard is a phrase called feeders of death, which we're not familiar with it, and we don't know anything about it. We don't know why these people are here or what they're accomplishing. We've heard these rumors, basically. And so out of concern, we would like this investigated by the authorities here, rather than them just push it aside as they usually try to.
You said the feeders of death.
That's the rumor.
Well, let's hope they're not around.
Bart, can we all take a look at that coin? You can have it back, but
Bart has like a little flash PTSD of the last time he asked me for my coin. He's like, oh, yeah, and then he'll hand the coin.
I'll throw it to Shin and Pri as well. Anybody recognize this?
It looks more like a medallion than a coin, I should say that. It's a bit bigger.
Okay. Do any of us recognize the symbols on it?
Well, oh no, Dimitri wouldn't have been involved in that, so he wouldn't even know. Pri would recognize it for sure. Shin would have knowledge of some of the symbology, but wouldn't necessarily have seen. I don't think you saw the token before, did you?
I don't think so.
No. Pri actually fought the cultists, and they all had them on them. So a very long time ago.
First battle, right?
Yep.
Okay.
But I know the name, right? The feeders of death. I know that name, right?
You do, yep. Yeah, that name definitely rings a bell for you.
We'll just say, cultist, I stabbed him. With help.
Okay.
In a library.
You stab people in a library?
Are you surprised she stabbed someone in a library?
I'm surprised she was in a library.
If you come across them, they won't hesitate to stab you wherever you are. So
Surprised they were in a library.
I mean, the mother was okay with it. Or whatever her name is.
Who has my coin or my medallion now?
I still have it. I'll pass it back to you.
All right, I'll just put that back. Oh god, I'm
We
falling
talk less.
back into him.
Ride faster. It's over with.
I don't know why. Such a fascinating ride, and Clamdor hasn't really engaged you today. Continues to not really do so at the moment. He seems to be very much set in whatever he's about to do.
Well, he wants to get him there before he decides to change his mind on that note. Let's go.
All right, so as you guys ride on for about an hour and a half, you will see a monster-sized lake kind of hove into view. And at the center of it, you see this massive city, probably about 20,000 people, so massive for that time period, with large walls around it and no obvious way to get to it. So in effect, it's completely cut off from the land. And
we're gonna need magic, aren't we?
As you ride closer down into the valley that leads towards there, Clamdor just smiles at you and says, "My dear, we always need magic. It's what helps us get everything done in this day and age, after all." And he looks towards an area where two posts stand at the edge of the water, and he arrives there. And as you get closer, you can see there's man-sized doors on either side of these pillars. And they open immediately, and a couple of guards come wandering out, and they go, "State your business." And Clamdor says, "I am Lord Tinkerfoot, the ambassador for Veilguard, and I am here to speak with your monarchy."
Of the old family.
And he just sighs. "Yes, of the old family." The first guard looks at him and says, "Papers." The Tinkerfoot looks back at the halfling who says, "Right, right, right." And he reaches into the bag that you'd heard mentioned previously and pulls out this scroll and hands it to the guard. The guard perfunctorily looks it over a couple more times, hands it to the other guard who also checks it again and says, "Right, it all looks in order." And he turns back to one of the pillars and you hear him say, "Right, pull!" And as he says that, the bridge that these pillars are attached to appears, and it looks like a ray of light, which just goes from these two pillars out to where the fortress is. And Clamdor hops back on his horse. The halfling wanders over and gets a scroll and hops back over to the cart, and then onto his horse, or not the cart, over to his horse, gets into it, or onto it, and Clamdor nods to you all and says, "Right, follow me," and drives onto the bridge. As you go onto the bridge, it basically sounds like you're stepping on metal, but the bridge itself is lit with kind of a bluish light, which travels in a big arc back towards the castle, and it is very, very smooth. But you can see everything. You can see under it, you can see over it, you can see everything, but you get the impression that you're completely protected as you ride on it. And as you reach, basically the what? Sorry.
As we're crossing the bridge, I'm gonna like hang back and talk to the lady that's pulling the cart, the tattooed lady. I'm
Okay.
gonna say, "Is the ambassador expecting trouble here? Seems to me like you and your halfling friend would have been enough for this. Why did you need us?"
Uh, let's just say the Animatsu aren't always the most kind of people, and they can be a bit gruff.
All right, fair enough.
And if things go particularly poorly, we might need a few extra arms.
I see.
And she nods and keeps on moving. One thing you'll notice is she's able to keep up with the horses with the cart. And you can see on her boots, she has little tiny wings. And they kind of flap periodically. And probably about half an hour of crossing this bridge, you reach the other side. And as you do, there are two more guards waiting with the gates open. And they nod as you reach there. And one guard looks at you and she says, "Right, you are guests of Animatsu. Please keep in mind our cultural standards. Do not break our traditions. And do not mention those from the other side while you're in our presence." And she nods and says, "You have safe passage across the bridge whenever you need to, as long as you are here."
I lean towards Shin and go, "Does they make ghosts?"
I don't know. Don't mention it just in case.
Oh, okay.
And as you enter the city proper, you can see it's dirty, but not like filthy. Definitely a different sort of condition. People are wearing warmer clothes. There's some snow occasionally you'll see in corners of the that are kind of shaded and stuff, but for the most part, there isn't a lot of it around. The weather seems a little dreary, but kind of like a late kind of winter, early spring kind of affair. And it is mild, but not warm by any means. Probably around kind of, so to put it in American terms, around 45 to 50. Canadian terms, kind of like about 6 or 7 degrees. And you are led basically up to the castle walls, and at that point, Clamdor reaches the gate, and he says, "Well, my fellows, this is as far as we travel today."
Bart leaves. The moment he starts talking, says that Bart leaves.
Clamdor looks at Dimitri and says, "You are free to travel around the city or wherever you need to. We will meet up again closer to the dinner hour or possibly in the morning. It's up to you. Or,
Okay.
to be fair, it's up to them."
Before we do that, though, what are these cultural no-nos that she was mentioning, and who are we not supposed to talk about?
They're not fond of people from the woods.
Oh. I
I-
immediately look at Shin.
I'll squint my eyes and look at the nearest person from here and just like give him a death glare.
I understand. Is there anything strange we should avoid that would not be a crime in our land?
Well, I wouldn't take your hood off, looking over at Shin. Your friend there appears to get it. Mostly just be careful. Don't get into arguments. Avoid confrontation. They are a militant.
I turn to
Group.
Bree. You hear that, Bree? Avoid confrontation.
Do I need to stick around?
No.
Can I just come back in a couple days? You're escorted.
He
Do I hear?
reaches in a bag and he hands you a small piece of copper and says, "Keep this with you,
Why?
so I can message you if I need to."
Fine. She'll tuck it in a pouch. Okay. Bye, guys. See you later. And she leaves. Literally, just leaves town.
Okay.
Are they gonna kill you
He's
in
got
there?
shit to do. What's that?
I was just asking him if are they gonna kill you when you go in there? If they don't like what you say.
Hasn't happened yet. I've been here a few times. They are not easy to get along with. Let's put it that way. But there is some sense of protection by being an ambassador. They don't want Veilguard coming down on them militarily.
Do you want some of us to go in with you during these negotiations?
No, my associate here, and he points at the halfling, will be the only one allowed to go in with me. Unfortunately, they are very strict on who sees their king.
Very well.
He has interesting air about him. They're a little paranoid, put it that way.
All right.
We'll see you tonight for dinner or tomorrow.
Indeed. Good fortune to you all. Stay safe, stay out of trouble, and we will talk to you all shortly, I hope.
I give like head nods to the woman with the tattoos and Philip.
The woman says, "I'll be coming with you." The name's Shiri, by the way. And
Been together for 6 hours, Sherry. Nice to meet you. I'm sorry we didn't ask your name.
she smiles and said, "It's all good. It's been a really strange trip." And she looks over at the little one and says, "Keep him safe." And
Yeah, Philip. I'd be like, I knew his name.
Philip nods and says, "As always." And he wanders off with Clamdor. And Cherie looks at the three of you and says, "Well, shall we go get shit-faced?"
Strokes.
I mean,
Bart's
unless-
all the way halfway there.
Doesn't she mean two? Because I left already and Bryn is gone.
Oh, you never... Oh,
I
that's
left
right. I
already.
forgot you'd left. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So the
Yeah,
three
I mean,
of
I was
you...
gonna- I was gonna ask if Bree wanted us to go with her, but she just left. So
Yeah,
What?
so it's just Dimitri and Shin there, but with the lady.
Okay. All right. So with that, I think we'll take our first break of the evening.